spare parts is so far away from the core business in the factory, you cannot even think about that.
Why is that? I guess they don't have a great system for it, or?
Well, first of all, you need to secure the right environment. You need to secure vibration-free environment. You need to maintain the spare parts in order for spare parts to survive.
Okay, that too.
Yeah, and you know, if all focus is to maintain your operation, who cares about the spare parts? So what happens is that when they get the panic and get this detection here, they run to the spare parts stock, find the motor, and the first thing that they find out that they have to replace a bearing on a motor that never have been run.
Yeah.
So now we are going a little bit deeper, but you see, this is extremely complex in a way.
Yeah.
But what I want to point out is that if you can really now, on another level, capture all the attributes, then you can, in seconds, compare what you have in the spare part stocks with what we have in production. You can identify gaps in seconds. You can't do that today. It would take days of work. And for the first point that the sensor actually gives a warning, you can in seconds find if we have the spare part and where it is. Do you get the So now we're extending the digital concept to something else. And we can be even more crazy. Why should the customers all put lots of money in spare parts that are almost never being used? Because you know, we are talking about quite reliable things. Should we not talk about sharing economy instead?
Yeah, this is interesting too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take PTO for example, I mean, you can easily make a case, or Umio, or Sundsvall.
Yeah, well, you could connect every customer within 400 kilometers radius and say that, let's connect to a system where we have all the attributes, we have the spare parts. You can start to minimize the number of spare parts in CapEx that we need to put for spare parts by having share economy with other industries. But you see...
I think the cost calculation might be difficult though, right?
It's not. We have already done the exercise. Okay.
I think that's very interesting.
Now we moved into sharing economy. That's quite interesting. Okay, but look at this. You put the product on the spare part stock. You put the QR code and you erase all the attributes. You know where it is. Every maintenance you do of the motor, even in spare part stocks, are documented. The motor is taken out the spare parts, that is registered. The motors are mounted in the factory, that's registered. So now you know the position of the motor in the factory and what it does. Every deviation found on the motor, you only have to scan the QR code and do a deviation report. Every maintenance you can register. Every motor taken out of production or for either recycle and repair. This is registered. So what I pointed out is that we need another digital layer in order to also handle the physical items during the full life cycle.
I think I start to understand more about Ulf's concern, or Ulf's argumentation also about other OEMs joining this start journey, actually, the more we talk. Because I feel that, I mean, there are, I guess, a practical challenge is there are multiple digitalization transformation happening in each plant. And I think you are coming with one from your product perspective. And that may not align with, I guess in certain cases I can feel that the digitalization manager of the plant may not be like, well, I'm not sure if you want to do this, maybe because we need to do the other things first. And then we know if they want to do this or some other one or whatever. So there is a lot of uncertainty also on the overall plant level, I'm guessing.
Let's say like this, if you do one change, you may need to do another change. Or may need to do a third change. One action needs another that needs a third in order to give kind of a holistic solution for the customer. Because early fault detection only gives one solution, is that, okay, you can stop running around measuring with the instrument. But you have to think of what happens then, what happens then, what happens then. I know that you love the idea probably to have a product as a service.
Yeah. That would be great.
But here we display that, hey, you can get a spare part as a service.
Yeah.
Which means that you don't have to pay for it. Actually, you do rental buy.
Yeah.
And ABB take care of all maintenance, everything, either in the motor hotel or customer stock. And when you need it, you will have a warranty on that, like a new product.
So this is a new service contract concept, right? This is not the level 1, 2, and 3 that you had shown before.
No. This is outside. This is not digital surveillance anymore. It's about what happens after digital surveillance.
Mm.
So I could go on, actually.
I have one more question that I was thinking about, just to ask you. If you go to slide number 14, 41, sorry, 41. I said wrong, yeah. This one. I think the part on the right side is also very interesting. I mean, that is this landscape of all the different digital applications that are possible to do, which are also related with maybe productivity gains. I mean, now we talked about, the link between spare parts and what you have in the stock and everything like that, but also using the data for improvements of existing systems. That one is also a very interesting part of the conversation. I mean, that kind of allows you to also think about software services or software APIs, I guess, in some way. How are you thinking about on that side?
What we have to think about our process industry today is that normally they have been there for 100 years. Okay. So when the computers were new, they installed the first IT system. And then they installed another one for another function. Then they installed a third one for third function. So industries that have been on the market for a while, they have a very scattered IT infrastructure. And it ends up that the informations are in silos, even though they could be completely open shared inside the company. And you know that spare parts stocks today, the normal asset management system you have is an Excel.
Yeah.
But here you could actually have the asset and their life cycle and all their attributes in a neutral database where you can connect it to any system you have inside the factory where it actually makes use. Like this is asset management system, this is a maintenance system, or this could be the ecosystem ABB that actually we keep track of the service and the events of the products under contract, my ABB Service.
Yeah.
I just wanted to tap. I thought it was very interesting with the spare motor there. I guess for a motor, I guess there could also be like a second life of a motor. So if you have a motor running in SCA's plant in the critical line, running really hard, and then you start to see, okay, this one is deteriorating. We can replace some components, but maybe this is not the best one to keep, on a critical line anymore. But then maybe you could put it in Boliden's mine somewhere on a non-critical function, something that doesn't need to run for the mine to operate, but is still needed to have a motor there sometimes.
Yeah, that's a problem we haven't solved yet. First of all, if the motor is really old, it normally have a very bad efficiency. So the best actually is to terminate the life of the motor, recycle it by upcycling what I showed you. But say that this IE2, IE3 motor, well, we could refurbish that, making that almost new. And we could find also a market for that, but that's a kind of a business model problem we haven't solved. Because we are not really into the second-hand market.
So I guess this starts to get interesting if you're selling all your motors, as a service. So you're not selling the motor, you're just selling torque. and that it should be reliable in certain conditions.